too, and he actually builds out custom CRMs for folks. So he builds out the functionality that works for me, right? And then there's different functionality that works for Fish and that Fish needs and things like that. So when we started talking about CRMs, we knew Jason was definitely the guy we wanted to have on here with us.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds awesome. So it's 10 o'clock. People are still pouring in, but what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to start this thing up. And so anyways, like I said before, my name is Brian Stevens with Listing Booster and the National Real Estate Post. We're putting together a fantastic coaching team. We've got some really, really insanely cool stuff coming up. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about automation. We're going to be talking about CRMs. There's a lot of people are asking, I know a lot of you out there right now are generating the type of leads that are just kind of off the charts. The question then becomes, when you get to that point, what do you do with them? And frankly, that's a harder question to answer. And so what we're going to be doing is talking about CRMs, different ones. Now, there might be something you like better than others. Maybe you have something right now that you want to share with us, and that would be welcome as well. And I'll be monitoring everything. But these guys are experts at this stuff. They're going to be going over different CRMs that work with Listing Booster, but keep in mind it's not just Listing Booster. A loan officer right now, I mean, everybody knows all the ridiculous analytics. 80, 90% of the people who start their search, they started online. There's billions of dollars made in profits of capturing people's information. And what I know from Listing Booster, and what you probably know as well, is the vast majority of leads that come in, online leads that come into most companies, they go uncalled. I'll give you an idea here, and I think I talked to you guys about this before, but when, like on Zillow or other sites, what happens is you go ahead and you get a lead. Well, your lead is then sold off to a couple other people. The price varies depending on the quality of the lead. You can buy leads for upwards of $100 a pop, which they might have live transfers on those. What happens is those leads go stale. When they go stale, they're sold off a second time. And after they go stale a second time, they're sold off a third time. Every time it's discounted. There are people who are buying leads that have been stepped on by anywhere from 7 to 10 loan officers and real estate agents, and there's groups that just go and call those leads and try to make them hot leads again, and they're continually sold off. So leads are commoditized, and there are those who are great at converting them, and there's those that suck at converting them. The great thing about Listing Booster is none of your leads are ever sold off to anybody. It's your listing, your lead, it's your hard work, but it's also your job to make sure that you turn as many of those into clients as you can to make your Listing Booster account work for you. CRMs are the way to do that. These boys today are going to be talking to you about it. I'm personally very excited about this because, frankly, this is a weak spot for me. I've got a lot to learn from this, so I'm excited to hear what these guys have to say. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you put those in the question box down below. And guys, if you could be just wary of the time at about 10:15 till, if we can close it down, and we'll go in and answer questions as many people as we can. With that said, I'm going to hand it off to you. And who wants a screen?
We're going to go ahead and give Jason the screen today. Jason, make sure you don't have anything inappropriate up on your screen, okay, buddy?
Slow down. Hang on. I think we're good. We're okay.
It's funny you say that. I actually had some inappropriate stuff I was going to put up on there before the whole thing started. Maybe if you're lucky afterwards, I'll share it with you guys. Okay, Jason, you should have the screen.
All right. Do you guys see my screen? Am I sharing it?
Yep.
Okay.
We got it. All right, well, real quick, Jay, before we go ahead and get started and talk about all the cool stuff you have here, let's talk a little bit about CRM theory, right? So Fisher and I have a certain theory. Fish, what's our theory on CRMs? Like, what is the best CRM for someone to use?
The best CRM for anyone to use is the one that you are currently using and actually putting data in and actually have some kind of follow-ups going out through your CRM, hopefully mostly automated.
Right, and people hate that answer because that's never the answer that anyone wants.
They get mad at me all the time. I ask you, so the first thing I do is I ask them, well, what are you using now? Do you have data in it? Is it, is anything being sent to your clients? And in many cases, I hear no, 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 which that's what you have to start with. I mean, if you don't have anything at all working for you in your business, then what do we say, TJ? They're how many years behind?
Yeah,
2 years?
Not even, years? Yeah, let's say at this point. Look, it's just like when we talk about video. Automation is not the future; it's the present. Video is not the future; it's the present. It's funny. I got an ad today, an email, because we know I've signed up for every potential list possible. of products being sold. I got an email today talking about how you need to incorporate video into your business. That video is the future. We've been saying, and we've been learning from Brian for years, that video is not the future. It is now. It is now. But our big thing with CRMs, again, it's something that you'll use. Now, Jason, tell me your theory. You talk about this all the time. I see you post on groups. What do you think about CRMs? When you say what is the best CRM, or kind of when you look at an overview of CRM, what do you look at? What are you thinking about?
Sure. So first and foremost, I agree with you. It's whatever you'll actually use. If you're not going to use it, then don't even bother. And give people a little idea about what kind of person I am. Like, I fall in love with CRMs almost immediately. Like, you show me a new one, shiny object, I get excited. I'm like, this is amazing. And like a month or two later, I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this thing. I feel like they all are amazing and they all suck at the same time. They all have their limitations, and it's just the nature of the beast. Not everybody's going, not any company is going to think of every last little thing you need for your business the way you want it, So when I look at CRMs, I look at what I can improve on. What's working now, what do I want it to do, and can I make it do it?
Right. So I think one of the big things about CRMs is we use the term CRM, kind of trying to grab everything, right? As something that does automated follow-up for us. Other people look at CRM as an analytics tool, to know where their customers are coming from, how they're getting there, what's going on with their pipeline. And I think that's one of the big problems, Fish, that you and I run into when we work with LOs, is that people all have their own definition of what a CRM should be, and they all have their own idea of what they want that CRM to do. And then to go to Jason's point, or to your point, which is why so many people don't use them, because they have kind of like that tunnel vision of what they want. And then to Jason's point, you can't necessarily get that one CRM that's going to go ahead and do everything that you want. You can't just go find that prepackaged CRM, whichever one it is. Some people use Aweber as a CRM, even though technically it's not. It's an auto-responding. It's something to follow up. It's a follow-up system. Some people use Pipedrive as a CRM. Again, technically that's not just a CRM, because that's more of a sales analytics tool, right? So how do you find something that fits all your needs? And that's kind of where, Jason, what you focus on, right, is finding out what people want, what you want, what I want, what Fish wants, and then creating the CRM from there to fit our own personalities and fit our own business needs. Is that right?
Right. There's some basic functionality that I would assume everybody's going to want. But beyond that, usually when I start working with somebody, I try to find out what it is they're trying to accomplish with their CRM more than anything else, and that way we can tailor it to their needs. Not everybody wants things to go out, on exactly the same schedule. Not everybody wants just emails or text messages or voice broadcasts or whatever it is. People have different ways that they want their CRMs to interact with their leads, because they have different ways that they're going to interact with them. And it's about marrying the two for a comfortability, because your CRM should be a piece of your business, not just a data storage center, and not just something automatic that, like, oh well, these next 8 emails are going out and there's nothing I can do about it. It needs to be part of your business.
Can I add something to that, Jason?
Sure.
I had a meeting this morning with a very good Keller Williams agent. He's got a team, and he followed his own systems for a while. He hasn't been there forever, so I don't know how much Kool-Aid he's drinking of theirs. But he was showing me just some of the simple things that he does with his CRM, and it all starts with having those databases, having those local lists of people that have already seen his name. And he jumped in and showed me how he had some of his CRM lists segmented, and how he was a little bit slow just a couple months ago, so he just jumped in to his past clients and his local connections, which was one of his lists, and he just said, hey, it's been a while. How about we meet up for coffee? I'd love to see you. Let's chat soon. He had an 86% open rate on that.
Nice.
He scheduled like 40 face-to-face meetings with clients, and they met at a coffee shop across from his office. And he ended up pulling a handful of listings out of it, or referrals. The simplest thing in the world, the simplest email. But it all started from him building a list of people years ago and keeping it segmented so that when he needed it, when he needed to reach out, when his business slowed down, or when he all of a sudden had a great idea for something that his clients or friends needed to see, he was ready to roll. It was a simple action. And that so many of us lose sight of what the purpose is. It's not necessarily measuring our ROI today. It's building our brand long term and having a well of folks who know, like, and trust us that can potentially work with us at some point in the next year, next 10 years, next decade, who knows. But either way, the best clients for this particular agent, they're people that already know his name. So why would he lose track of them? Why would he not message them once in a while?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can show me a system that automatically sends out, one email and that to one person, and that one person, not only responds but closes business, man, I'll pay you $1 less than whatever I make on that deal, and I'll do it all day long. But the fact of the matter is that only a certain percentage of people are going to respond, and they need to be stayed in front of, whether it's past clients, leads, etc. You need a constant moving system, that keeps those things fresh. And to your point, Mike, just talking about the segmenting of lists, that's a really big deal too. We get like with Listing Booster, which I am a big fan of. Most of the moving the data from Listing Booster over into a CRM, what are the three things that everybody wants to concentrate on, right? They want that name, they want that email address, and that phone number if it's there. But there's a lot of other data there. I'll show you. I'm assuming everybody can still see my screen. Give you a little idea. I actually export all the data out to a Google Sheet so that I can then move it around wherever I want it. Besides, the email, you get the agent's first name, the agent's last name, the agent's email address, and all that fun stuff. You get the property address that they've accessed, right here, 123 Main Street in the great state of US, and the zip code, and you get the purchase price, you get the square footage, the bedrooms. I mean, this is all vital data to know ahead of time as to what it is your people are interested in. So then when you go back to send them something, whether it's whether it's a follow-up thing like the example you were just giving, or maybe one of your other agents has a 4,000 square foot 4-bedroom in the 90009 zip code, this is the perfect list to then segment out anybody who responded to this property or opted into this property. So I actually export all this information out to a spreadsheet and then import it into my CRM differently, so that I can make easy access to it and segment out on the fly instead of creating list after list after list.
Awesome. Fish, to your point with the whole branding thing, look, we all know that at this point, building a database, there's nothing more powerful, effective, easier, cost-effective than Listing Booster to build that database, right? With the social media, with the Facebook opt-in at this point, it is, to use the tired phrase, but it's been game-changing for it. So someone who does not have a database can start today and have 1,000 people in their database in a month, right? Our buddy Greg Peckman, who gets mentioned a lot of time, I just saw him post on Facebook, over 10,000 leads in his database right now. So the consistent marketing to it, but having some of the cool automation tricks that Jason's want to talk about here, and how to differentiate yourself from everyone else that signed up for this, that's huge. It's huge, and like I said, being able to take that information that comes in, using Listing Booster as the lead magnet to get the lead to opt in, and then being able to segment them and pull them into whatever CRM you're choosing to use so you continue to market to. I mean, I truly believe that if you have enough people in your database and you do enough branding and unique marketing, we spoke about, I think one of the first webinars, we spoke about Brian's Yelp strategy, right? Where you're just putting yourself out there with a unique video every week to this database, telling them about something, and then have a quick call to action at the end. I truly believe that you can go ahead and build yourself a very sustainable business simply by doing that. And you can probably do that in as quickly as 6 months. Would you agree, Fish?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the more that you go out and position yourself as the authority, as what Brian and I often say is the go-to person and a source of help and information for the agents when it comes to building these lists and even helping them learn how to use the lists, then the more value you create to them. So I think Brian and I were doing a call for a local lender yesterday, and we kept mentioning how so many of the folks that use Listing Booster or any system for that matter, they just shoot the agents a login. Here's the system, here's the benefits and features, see you later. They don't train, they don't teach a class, they don't put a PowerPoint together, they don't make any videos. They really don't offer any support. And many of the folks that we found with Listing Booster go back to Brian or go back to Kevin Bilberry and say, hey guys, can you make a bunch of videos for us showing our agents how to do it? And Brian and Kevin say, you know, how about you guys watch all the videos that are there and learn how to do that, and then you teach the agents how to move the data and how effective it is, because then you're going to be the authority and the source of information and the true valuable partner. So I think that's what a lot of loan officers are missing. They see this kind of stuff, they see this spreadsheet, they see some tech stuff, and they freak out and instantly think, man, I got to pay somebody else to do this. I got to, you know, somebody else taught me that I should offload all the tasks I don't like. So they end up offloading a bunch of pieces that are somewhat critical to understand. So I'm not saying you should be doing this all day, every day. I'm saying you should at least understand how it works so that when you're trying to partner with your agents, you can at least teach them and understand the challenges that they have in creating a database and in segmenting data and moving things around, because it's a real problem. You talk to agents everywhere, and the agents really struggle with how to move data. There's so much pieces of information coming at them on a daily basis, and they've been sold everything under the sun as to how to best do it. So it's if you have a clear message, if you're the authority, and you can give them some very straightforward action steps, perhaps have a 1 or 2 or 3 class plan with some, you know, again, some PowerPoints and some videos and things that you're pulling to show them exactly how to do it, that's how you win. Would you agree, TJ?
Yeah, I think understanding conceptually what's going on, so you can, I mean, from the CRM point, but I agree with you as far as understanding Listing Booster. And, you know, I understand we're kind of going off topic here, but, you know, we're going to switch it back to Jason here shortly and talk about the CRM, but this all kind of falls under the same umbrella. But knowing Listing Booster, how to use it, how to generate the leads, teaching people how to do that, and not just, as you said, just sending out an email saying, hey, I just want to go ahead and update and get to it. You know, I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. I got a message from an email from an agent last weekend, you know, asking me how to do something. I realized, I'm like, oh my God, all I ever did was add her to it and said, hey, go ahead and post in some groups. But I never really sat down with her and told her why she should be doing this, what she's going to get from it, what to do once she does get stuck with it, what to expect. You know, what happens when all of a sudden the agent gets 300 leads, Facebook leads, over the course of a weekend? They want to go ahead and shut down, right? Because they don't know what to do with it. You know, of that, you want to have 15, 20, 30 that might have a phone number on there, but they've got so many in there. How are they going to find all that information out? How do they want to go through all that? What are they going to go ahead and do with it? And then after a couple of weeks of that, they're going to have so many leads coming in, and nothing's converting because they're not effectively working them. What's going to happen, boys? They're going to say, yep, the leads are weak, right? Which is something that we always talk about. Yep. So what do we do with all that, right? So we know we can get all this information. We know we need to be experts. We know we need to be teaching this information, because all of a sudden when we're experts and we're teaching people how to do this, you know, there's a perception that you are the person to be working with. So Jay, what do you do when you get all these leads? You know, you have a loan officer that you built a CRM for, or you're working with one of your own personal real estate agents, and they put in, you know, post in 30 groups, and they get 10 leads out of each group, and they have 300 leads coming in on a weekend. What do you do with that?
Well, just to piggyback first on what you were just saying, I actually believe, depending on the individual, the strategy changes, right? Like, I love to tinker. I would probably
when you say the individual, you're talking about the real estate agent you're working with, the prospect, the loan officer. What are you kind of doing?
Loan officers, I think everything varies slightly, and it's all on comfortability and those sort of factors. Like, I'm the tinkering type of person. Well, I get a little bit OCD and start, you know, wanting to learn everything I can about everything, you know, all day, every day. Not everybody's going to be like that, right? So you might be teaching the classes, and they might not actually fully understand. They don't want to tell you they don't understand, whatever it might be. They just might not get that involved in all the aspects of what they could be doing. For such cases, I've started actually taking over the marketing, the after opt-in marketing for the agents. I let them use, kind of piggyback off of my CRM, and then I just handle everything for them from there. And then, they want to do updates, whatever. I'm the guy they got to contact. So it's keeping me, top of mind for them. And just a different approach. You're going to have other people that you show to them once, and they're going to be like, yeah, I don't need your video about how to do it. I got this. They're going to go running with it. So, and I feel the same way about leads. Your actual leads that come in, everything has a strategy, and that strategy, again, has to fit both you as the loan officer, the real estate agent that's involved. It's got to fit everybody. So, that being said.
Hey, do you have the strategy where I just send out an email and someone comes back to me and fills out a loan application?
Yeah.
Just so if I can get 300 emails in over the weekend, I'll get 300 apps.
Right. We have that strategy.
Okay.
They're going to be terrible. They're going to be terrible credit apps, but
right. It's going to be terrible credit, and people looking for like 150% financing with $50,000 down payment assistance, right?
Right. Exactly. The course of action I take most people through. Like I said, the first thing I do is I zap them out to the Google Sheet, like you see here, right? So that I have all that information.
Real quick, just in case someone doesn't know, when you say zap, what do you mean?
That's Zapier, Zapier.com, Zapier.com. Zapier just allows different programs to integrate, different web-based programs to integrate with each other.
Can you hop over to Zapier real quick so people can see just kind of conceptually what it looks like? I think a lot of folks get lost on this part of it where, they know a lead comes in from Listing Booster and somebody told them to use Zapier and that's all they know.
Right.
So, and Jason, you use ActiveCampaign, right? That's kind of your.
I use ActiveCampaign.
Yep.
Whatever one you use, again, it goes back to you should use whatever is the one you're going to use. So the feel for it, how it, where you go to click on things, all those things matter. Not just functionality, but everything about it really has an effect, on whether or not you're going to use it. So you should use something you're comfortable with. But I like ActiveCampaign because I like the amount of automation that goes into it, how much I can change it around, and I'll show a little bit of that in a second. So this is Zapier. There's various plans you can get on depending on how much you want to do, but you basically go through and you pick programs and you pick the apps that you use and link them together based on different triggers and actions that you can take.
All right. So basically, you have the data goes into Listing Booster. You have the Zap set up that as soon as the data goes into Listing Booster, it pulls that information that you tell it to, and then it moves into the other program that you tell it to. In this case, ActiveCampaign, which you use as your CRM, correct?
Right.
Right. Okay. So for anyone who's interested in kind of following this, we'll make sure we put a link to the Zapier, the Listing Boosters app, we'll both do Kills and the users group. Right, Fish?
Yep.
So I zap out to right here is where it is, right? So you get the Listing Booster information. Web lead comes in. This step here, if you can see my mouse cursor, Jason's Listing Booster. It zaps out to, grabs the information and zaps out to the Google Sheet, which is over here, right? Just like I said, it takes all the information. I think the only things I don't bother zapping in are the property description and this second property of interest, excuse me. Everything else, if it's in Listing Booster, it's pulled over here. I then have Zapier turn around, not in the same step. I just like it to take a little bit of a break in between. But I have it turn around and then zap everything over to my ActiveCampaign account. And first, before, just to make sure that there isn't overkill or anybody's getting hit with extra, with the same info over and over again, there's ways to set up Zapier so that it actually will check to make sure that the email address for the customer, it'll, like here we are, John at johnsample.com. It'll look in here, it'll pull the email address, and then it'll check an ActiveCampaign to see if it's there already. And if it's not there, then it will create a new person.
That's pretty cool.
That way, you get somebody who just is opt-in crazy. or whatever. You're not just killing them with the same, the same initial automation step over and over and over again.
All right, so real quick before we get into the details, tell me kind of an overview here. So again, someone pops into Listing Booster, they opt in, they want to check out a property. We do not have a phone number in this situation, so we just get a name and an email address. What do you want to have happen at that point?
Name and email address. So once I got all their information ported over to the CRM, then I want an email going out to them, and I want tracking on it.
Okay.
The initial email is just, hey, how did you like 123 Main Street? What did you think?
And if I remember correctly, you got that basic email got you a referral for an agent a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes, it did.
Yep.
Yeah. Very basic, very simple. The way I look at this is, like I said, it's an extension of you, right? I want my customers or my leads thinking that I just sat down and sent them an email for the most part, especially in the beginning. Or me or the individual agent sent them the email. You can set it up to go from either person. I prefer the agent actually in the beginning because they opted into a property. They didn't say, what are your interest rates, right? They didn't say, can you tell me about 30-year fixed mortgages? So I think the agent is who the interactions need to happen from in the beginning.
Right.
At that point, but you want it to be simple, and you just want to move people to the next step, right? You're not trying to, clean it up a little bit, but you're not trying to kiss on the first date. All you want to do is get them to be interested a little bit more. So, they just opted into a property, 123 Main Street. Hey, what'd you think about 123 Main Street? It's a great property. Things are moving pretty fast. Let me know. And you're just trying to get them to reply. And in that email, in some of them to go out, there'll be a link to go fill out more information. Like if it's not the property for you, they'll give us a little more info, and we'll find one because a lot of properties are gone before the open house even hits.
Right.
That sort of mentality, right?
So
After
you're just
that,
trying to get some action.
You're just trying to get them to respond.
Yep, respond, some type of interaction with you. Non-threatening, very simple, very easy email type of thing. Not here, you got to schedule time to see this right now and fill out my pre-app 1003, mortgage application immediately.
Right. And pay $500 for the application fee now. Right. It'd be great if you, like I said, if you've got that email system that makes that happen, I'll pay $1 less than what I make on each deal for it. But it just doesn't exist. So you got to kind of like warm them up. And they took the first action. You're just trying to get them to move a little bit forward from there. So what I like about one of the things I like about ActiveCampaign is the link tracking. So you put in like a link to your Wufoo form or whatever it is you're using to ask them further questions. ActiveCampaign will let me know if they've replied to the email or if they've clicked on the link, right? So you have people that click on the link and maybe don't fill out the form. Because of course, if they go fill out your Wufoo form, you're going to get that email. But if they don't get it, if they don't fill it out, how do you know, right? Well, I set up the automation within ActiveCampaign so that what it does is if they reply to the email, which, as I said, I got the emails going out from the agent, so I don't actually get the reply, right? But if they replied or if they click the link, it sends me a notification. Sends me an email that's, my own little robot saying, hey, Mr. Smith opted into 123 Main Street, and he got his first email, and he went right over to the Wufoo form, or he hit reply, follow up with the agent, and see how they made out with it.
So everyone, when Jason says Wufoo form, Wufoo is just kind of a survey system that a lot of people utilize, Jason included. I think Fish does too, or something similar to it. It's just a way to grab some additional information.
Right.
So just in case anyone's not familiar with that.
Now, if some folks are using survey forms of different types like Wufoo or Typeform,
Survey Gizmo, Lead Pops, there's tons of them out there.
Yep. So they're incorporating those.
I don't even use Wufoo. I just thought maybe more people would be familiar with it. It tends to be what rolls off my tongue.
Well, some people are using Pre-App 1003 as well in their email follow-up series.
That's the thing too. Like I like Pre-App 1003. I don't actually have it, but I like it. I think it looks good and it works well. But if somebody just opted into a property, for my money, I'm not sending them that pre-app 1003. I don't want them filling that out right now. I mean, yes, I want them to, but I don't think they're going to, because they just wanted to look at a property, and I'm up there asking them for their financial information, right? I want them to tell me more about what they're interested in.
Our friend Ian from Traverse City, Michigan, is actually getting him to fill out the pre-app 1003 off of his email series, but he's doing it in a very crafty way where he's building some rapport through a series of emails, and then he's dropping them to get started. So
right, which is exactly what Jason's referring to. It's not banging them over the head right away. It's building trust. It's building confidence through the email series and some of the different actions before we really go ahead and start what we ultimately want, which is to capture their information, try to get them pre-qualified, and then hand them back to the agent. Because if we do that, what happens, boys? If we're handing a pre-qualified customer back to that agent, they love us, right? I mean, they are an agent. So, all right, so conceptually, Jay, so you want to go ahead, you're doing some basic emails to these people, asking questions. As we all know in sales, we should absolutely be asking questions, trying to get people to respond, interacting to us. Now, let's just say we have someone who has it's one of the 10% of folks that have a phone number when they go ahead and opt in. What's going to happen at that point?
So if they opt in with the phone number, it automatically sends them out a text message that is like, what'd you think of 123 Main Street? But a slight step before that, I actually have a voice broadcast that goes out that hits right into their voicemail. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of you guys are out there familiar with like Slide Broadcast and Slide Dial. So it automatically sends out the voice broadcast, and it goes into their voicemail, and it's like, hey, sorry I missed you. You just opted into one of our properties on Facebook or through a Facebook post or however you want to say it. Just thought I'd catch you real quick to see what else I can help you out with. I'm also going to send you an email and to shoot you a text message just to follow up. Feel free to respond in whatever way is easiest for you. So now, you know, I think a lot of people, or most people, are familiar with the idea that on the internet you need to talk to people like they're 5th or 5th graders or whatever the phrase is. You got to tell them what's going on. So the next thing I'm telling them that's going on, if I've got their phone number, is I'm leaving a voicemail to tell them, look for the text or the email and get back to me. Right? So the voicemail goes out, and then moments later the text message goes out and the email is going out to them, and it's just an extra step in the process. And then a little bit further on down the line, so once the email chain starts happening, if they've not responded via text, they haven't responded via phone or anything else, a little bit as we get a couple emails down the road, I start switching things up to something a little more quote unquote lengthy, a little more like, hey, I need your information kind of thing. And then we send out another voicemail like, look, it's been 3 weeks. You looked at a property online. Have you found the property you're looking for? We just want to, we want to make sure that you're getting what you want. It's a tough market out there. You need somebody on your side. And then, it's just to further hit them because, I don't know.
So you're taking different approaches. You're having different contacts with these folks, but you're basically not leaving any lead just sitting there, right?
Right.
Because it's as we've spoken about one-on-one, as we spoke about at the top of this webinar, you can generate so many leads with Listing Booster, with the opt-in functionality. It is impossible for you to effectively work every single lead, right? It's impossible for you to take every lead, send it an email, hey, 123 Main Street was awesome. What did you think about it? You're not going to do it. Your real estate agent's not going to do it. Their assistant's not going to do it. Your assistant's not going to do it. But if you can automate these steps to where there's 300, 400, 500 leads every weekend you have coming in, you're essentially using the automation, your CRM, whatever it is, whether it's ActiveCampaign, whether it's LionDesk, whether it's, what's the one you used to use, Fish, Big Purple Dot, whether it's Aweber, whatever it is, you're using these steps to go ahead and find people who have interest in what you're doing. In the beginning, shortly after, whatever your process is, Jay, 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks on this after they opt in, and then move them over to your database where you go ahead and you effectively market and brand yourself throughout, not necessarily geared to a property, but just as being the local go-to person right there. Does that kind of sum it up, Jay? It
does. I think for me the biggest things to think about are, I am absolutely not going to call every single person that opts in. I know who I am, and I know what my day is going to look like after I've been up for an hour and it all goes crazy in a handbasket. So I think of my CRM, like I said, as an extension of me to make contact with people and to do jobs for me, right? I have a campaign set up that when I want to reach out to realtors about Listing Booster, I go look up some information like from homes.com, or I think this is TJ's strategy. Thank you, TJ. I go look them up and I add them to a Google Sheet, and then Zapier pulls them from the Google Sheet and sends them the voicemail, and then adds them to my CRM, and we're off and running on another campaign for them.
Right, and what you just said right there, that's not a traditional email opt-in type of approach, but it's still, contact relationship management or customer relationship management, right? Because you're reaching out to these agents trying to go ahead and build business with them. So I think kind of the point to all of this, and well, everyone, I know you're watching this and you're like, how the hell am I going to go ahead and do this, right? Jason's talking about Zapier, and active campaigns and automations and voicemails and emails and everything else under the sun. Look, it's a lot, right? And that's not what this webinar is about. This webinar is not about the nuts and bolts. Hop into the Kills group. We'll definitely go ahead and have some videos in there showing folks some of the basic stuff. Jason's agreed to go ahead and pop in and answer some questions on this as well. But again, I think the whole concept is to really have the most effective CRM, either find one that does what you want and learn it, or two, go ahead and get it built for you or build it yourself. Look, if Jason can figure it out, I promise you can. Sorry, Jay. I can't, and Fisher can't. But everyone else around here certainly can. But I don't think there's any limitations to what your CRM can do for you if you build it out right. Jay, tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can actually take the information that you're pulling here, and once you have that customer that fills out your opt-in form or your Woohoo or your Lead Pops or your Survey Gizmo, you can pull them into like a Pipedrive account as well, can't you?
Yeah, ActiveCampaign actually has a something similar to Pipedrive. When you start getting up to certain numbers of contacts, it almost becomes too expensive for what it's worth, right? But you can just export all the information out of ActiveCampaign and into Pipedrive to handle your deal flow on things that are becoming deals. And
so you can have that
making a tag on them.
Right. You can take that 2,000 people that you get over the course of a month. Of that, let's say 4 or 5 actually come out of it that are real live deals, and you can pull them right into your Pipedrive account. So while ActiveCampaign and the robots, as Fish loves to say, that are coming for our jobs, as we employ them to work for us in the background, they're handling all of your communication. You're focusing on the live people, right? And trying to go ahead and get them to get their pre-app 1003 filled out, get them into your office face-to-face, get them pre-qualified, get them out looking at houses right there. So you're focused on the stuff that's actually going to pay you soon. And to me, that's really what the CRM should be, right? Let it work in the background, the stuff that needs to get done that you're not necessarily going to do, so you can focus on the stuff that's going to make you money here in the near future.
This is the robot that we're looking at his screen right here. This is the robot that we talk about all the time.
Right. And instead of fighting it, we're joining it, man. Like, join us. So, all right, Jay, we have like 5 minutes left on this before we get to the Q&A. Anything that you want to go ahead and add, anything that we've kind of missed as far as CRM theory or what should be done? Okay, let's say when people hop off this call, they're running we're Tuesday, so they have a couple days to go and get ready for the weekend when they want to post or have their agents post in the groups. What do they absolutely need to do? What's the 1 or 2 steps they should absolutely take, regardless of what type of CRM or follow-up system they have in place?
First and foremost, figure out what you want to happen on a micro level, right? I want to close a loan. That's big. That's macro, Get down to what you want to happen for your leads when they opt in. Figure out what you want to go on. Think of it almost like they're walking down into the one of the various lines at Disney World or something, and all right, they go here, and as they go a few steps in the line, for whatever, for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, they see a sign that talks about the Pirates of the Caribbean, and they see a sign that tells them to go to the store, right? Disney knows that they want to hit you every so many feet with more information about something, and they want to walk you down that path. So you need to think about your customers that way. What path do you want them to walk down? And then think about your CRM, like I said, as an extension of you. It's figure out what you want to do. Don't make it work. Like, and don't make it work, but don't make it a chore.
Right.
Better phrased.
So.
Yeah, I got one quick question for you. And this is something that folks ask me a lot. And TJ and I think mentioned it on some of the previous calls, but I see you've got your Listing Booster web lead system in your automation. Can you open that up and show us just some of the steps that you have programmed for the web leads? Because that's a question we get a lot. Like, what should I be sending my web leads? What should the timing look like? What should the emails say? Do you guys have a template for us? I know TJ and I have a few templates that we've worked with in the past. Some of the folks in our circle have templates as well. But I think that's one of the questions is, what do the policies look like?
Okay, so this particular one actually operates off of one of your templates. Thanks. Yeah, I'm not the best creative writing.
I wrote that.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I got a name for it here somewhere. It was the LB 8-week follow-up is the doc that it was probably saved to in whatever group it was in.
Gotcha.
So,
I think he and I both put that one together, or maybe he did. I don't know, but either way, all right, cool.
So I get all of my Listing Booster leads go into a list. I'll bring that up for a second. They all go into the same list, right? There's no need to differentiate each and every list and then figure out like, oh, did I email these people? Did I email those people? They all go into the Listing Booster lead ad responders list. When they come over from Zapier, they're tagged with the words new LB, and that tag tells ActiveCampaign, start sending these folks some emails, right? So it sends them out the first one. Like I said, I want this to be a human or feel like a human, right? So I have it wait about 4 hours, and then I make it wait until 10 a.m. the next day. It doesn't send out exactly at 10 a.m., which is good because that would be weird if you only email people exactly at 10 o'clock on the dot. So it sends out that initial, what'd you think of the property? It waits a little bit, and then it sends out the 10 a.m. email the next day. So first, when it waits till there, but before it sends out the email, like I said, it checks to see, did they reply? See that right here? Has replied to campaign, or does the contact match this condition? Has clicked the link, right? And that link is for one of the Wufoo form or whatever other form you want to use. If you get I get these lines coming off to the side here. If they do either one of those things, this is where it sends out notification emails. If they've replied, then because mine goes from the agent's going to get that information. So it sends me a notification email, notify LO. I'll show you real quick. It comes from Emma, which is what I call my system. It's also my daughter's name, so careful with the jokes.
And that's definitely like evil genius, supervillain type of thing where you name your robot after your kid.
Right. Someday I'm going to probably regret it because I'm not going to be able to keep track, and she's going to be like, I'm all over all this stuff and I own it. So I get an email from Emma, goes to LO email, that's me. Last name, hey, Smith replied to the Listing Booster web opt-in email number 1. And then it says my name, friendly reminder, Smith replied to that, you should follow up with the agent, and it'll have the agent's name, to see how they made out. Good luck. Love, Emma. And at the bottom, that's the feature that I like too, because it's right here at the bottom, it'll say view contact, and it'll have the contact info right there. Then I can just click that button, and it'll take either from my phone, from the web, or whatever I want to do, and it'll take me right into the client's information, the prospect's profile, and call the agent and see what's going on. If you click the link, the agent doesn't have access to the Wufoo form, so if they click the link, it notifies the agent and me. And that's this one. And so this one now comes from me because I want the agent to think that I'm emailing them. It's like, hey man, your new Listing Booster lead, whatever the name is, opted into your listing, and they click to follow up with our home purchase survey. Now's a great time to reach out to them. All right, so now they're getting emails from me without me having to do anything, more importantly. In the event that they don't click, in both those situations too, since we've been notified, it ends the automation. You can say, if they don't, slow down. There we go. So if they don't, at that point, they send out the next email, waits a couple of days, does that check again, always doing that check to see if they click the link or hit reply, waits a couple more days, sends out more emails. It goes on for the better part of 2 months. Not exactly, but like 60 days, 62 days. I'll slide on down here just to show you. At the end, again, it does have final check. Did they click the link or anything? It sends the email to the agent. If they didn't, now we've gone 2 months. It notifies me. It gives me 3 days to go in and decide, like, do I actually know this person? Maybe they just kept getting emails and I never took them off of the automation for some reason. Or maybe they called the office or they got filed a restraining order. So it gives me 3 days to make a different decision, and then it puts them into one of my other automations, which is the Walking Dead campaign, which is a couple of simple, I don't want to bother you type of emails, like, do I leave you on my list or not? And those emails start going out and go out twice a month for the next eternity until they either buy something or die.
That's awesome, dude. Can you open up that file that was on your desktop there, the 8 emails, I believe, the ones you wrote? Just this one, LB 8-week follow-up. I think we did that. We put our heads together this morning to came up with some of these, or might have been just TJ, and I'm trying to take credit, but.
Par for the course, Fish. Par for the course.
I edited them. I added some commas.
Right.
Punctuation marks.
Yes, I do like my exclamation points. So I like my exclamation points and commas. So that's the difference between a Michigan education and a Frostburg State education.
So the one I'm sending out isn't exactly this, but here it is. I think I just tweaked some things here and there. But the one thing that I liked a lot actually from this was the fact that it's from agent name. You know, it should be from the agent. As you get further down the road, you can make an introduction as the agent for the LO, or you can just start talking LO talk, or whatever you want to do from there. But it's the perception, I think, in the beginning, at least the first 2 or 3 emails needs to come from the agent.
No, I agree with you. So, all right, cool. Well, look, we are at the point here where we've got 10 minutes, 12 minutes here left. So one thing I would like to say to everybody is, look, I know what we went through today is a lot of theory. It's very technical, right? If you want to build this out, I think you can do it, but it's going to take some time to understand. If you want something that's cheap and easy and works well, check out LionDesk. It's what, guys, like $25 a month, something like that?
I believe I am cheap and easy. And work okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I want to jump in here and answer some questions that people have been asking. And my only input I want to say is I think using your daughter's name is very, very clever, because every time you see that, it just reminds you why you're working so damn hard all the time. I think it's brilliant. Okay, so if we could keep these answers really, really short, because we got 10 minutes and I want to get people out of here on time. And I think we've covered a lot of this stuff already, but if we could just go ahead and do these again, short answers would be great. Sheila says, what type of campaigns are you doing with the not-so-hot leads, and how long do you do them for?
Jay?
The not-so-hot leads?
Your Walking Dead campaign.
Okay, yeah, so that's my Walking Dead campaign. It couldn't be more basic, and I'll actually show it to you.
Remember quick, we got a lot of questions.
I'm getting over there.
All right, well, while Jason's looking that up, I think that you take something similar, a video campaign like Brian Jail campaign, you move it out of property specific and more towards a branding campaign. Fish?
I would agree. You don't want to push too much down the property or mortgage angle if people are not replying. It didn't work before. It's not going to work at a later stage in the game.
All right, Dave, real quick. Let's see it.
Real quick. So it's 2 emails that go out for this Walking Dead campaign. The first one goes out, and it's very much designed to look like you just typed it up on the fly from your phone. Just curious if you're still interested in buying a property in whatever city they opted into or anywhere else. Hit reply. Let me know either way. Very simple. The automation is doing checking to see if they replied or whatever, so that it doesn't want to offend them if they don't stay on this. And then the next email goes out 8 days later, and it just says something to the effect of, look, I don't want to keep you on the list if you're getting information that's not interesting to you. I want to, be kind of, I want to be here to help you, but if I'm giving you stuff you don't want, I don't want to keep you on. Should I take you off or not?
Okay. Two basic email questions trying to get some type of interaction or reaction from the customer.
If they don't reply to either one, it waits 30 days and it does it again. Over and over and over.
So Tracy Kane says, great conversation. I need help with this type of stuff, though. Is there any one-to-one training that's available? I can ask whomever. Will somebody call me? So Tracy Kane wants to know if somebody will call her.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We can definitely do that. And when I say we, I mean Jason.
Tracy, get into Mortgage Shots Kills. Go there. And again, we're going to be doing another webinar another week with another person doing CRMs. It's going to be like this, very much off the charts. But certainly we'll reach out to you. Tracy says, my bank's not going to allow me to use Google. Are there any alternatives? You can always use Bing.
Just Bing it.
Okay, Stephanie says, I have a small boutique real estate agency that currently doesn't have a CRM. On the real estate side, what are some of the most basic CRM brands? Again, quick, guys.
LionDesk.
Slightly.
Okay. David Connolly says, are these sessions recorded and available on Mortgage Shots? Yes, everything will be on Mortgage Shots, and you'll get a recording of this 2 to 3 hours after it's done. Tracy says, what's Jason's audio dial system called?
I do it through Sly Broadcast, which is the same company as Sly Dial. SLYDIAL.com.
Okay. Bill Hudson says, how do you get the voicemail to go out? Probably the same answer.
Sly Dial or Sly Broadcast.
Which means we got to close at 14.
Brad Furman says, can Jason send out a sample of his spreadsheet for us? Jason, are you willing to share that?
Oh, yeah, of course I will.
Jason, if you could get that to one of the boys, that would be cool, and we'll go ahead and put that in Mortgage Shots.
Okay.
Luke Leslie says, why wouldn't you zap from Listing Booster to Active Campaign? Why zap it into a Google spreadsheet?
One of the biggest reasons is that, let's take my father as an example. My father has a tendency to write in capital letters no matter what. So by zapping over to the Google spreadsheet, I then change the capitalization on everything to proper format before zapping it into Active Campaign. And that way, when I send out emails, I don't look like I'm yelling at them.
That's a really great point. Okay, Tracy says, how many different programs are you using, Jason?
4? 5?
Okay. Alex says, which CRM can you recommend for follow-up campaigns for over a year? I use Big Purple Dot.
Any, as long as you're going to use it.
Okay. Nancy
Big Purple Dot works really well. Yep, you can program that out for a year. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nancy says, if you don't have any listings, can you put other agents' listings into the system with their permission? Is that a Listing Booster question?
That's a Listing Booster question. Yes, we have. We talked about that a lot in some of our coaching and in LO circles. As long as the agents approach the other agent and add them as a co-agent, absolutely you can work another agent's listings. That kind of is more of a front-end question. How should you get more information on those listings? Those are the previous recorded webinars where we showed how to share, how to get the sellers to share, and how to build a buzz around those property listings. So if you don't have a lot of listings, find an agent that does, and you can use all those strategies and just get permission from that agent to start working those leads.
Okay, and by the way, this is a good reminder here for everybody. I will make sure that all of our webinars, I think they are, but I'll make sure all of our webinars that we've done in the past are in Mortgage Shots. They're all different. They all offer a different piece of information. So it's great content for you guys to go back and check out. Okay, Brad Furman says, can we get an 8-week follow-up to add to our CRM? I'm going to have the boys put Jason's head in a vice and see what we can get out of him. But clearly, I mean, this is his work, everything that he's done over there. So anything that he can share is just a really cool thing, but I also understand if there's some stuff he wants to keep to himself, but we'll get what we can. Okay, and Nancy says, where in Mortgage Shots will this information be? We'll have it in the Facebook group, and I'll have everything on the Facebook group and on Mortgage Shots, the coaching session, by day's end. Promise you on that one. And I think that's it. And by the way, we're 5 minutes short of closing. Jason, totally cool of you to come in and do this, man. I love it when LOs go out there and they take their proprietary stuff and they share it with other people. You know, the good news is you'll never compete against yourself because, one, there's probably not somebody in your area who's going to do this, and two, most people won't do it at all anyways. We both know that.
Right.
We would strongly urge everyone, it's true, it is. We strongly urge everyone to look into some of these CRMs, again, how people are you know, dealing with data right now, manipulating data and communicating with folks online. I think you guys said it best. That's not something that's changing. It's something that's already changed. The early adopters, the great adopters, are the ones who are finding success right now. This was what these guys are doing is not, again, in the theoretical. This is in the application stage. They're finding success with it. If you want to get more information on CRMs, ask any questions, again, jump into Mortgage Shots Kills, go to mortgageshots.com and go to the Kills coaching site, and we'll all be over in that area. And with that said, boys, once again, ass-kicking time. Totally love it, man. It's great stuff. Thank you.
Awesome. Jay, thanks. Brian, always thanks for having us, man.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, Case.